You're listening to The Straight Line on MRN.com, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. And also brought to you by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Well, that's the opening music for MRN's The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Hi, everybody. Ralph Shaheen and Doug Herbert back in the studio together again. And boy,
missed you last week.
I had to go do a little racing. We went over to Knoxville for the Nationals.
Knoxville National. So you saw our old buddy Selzy over there and his two boys. They did pretty good, huh?
Selzy was there, and he was a piece of work as always. But yeah, Gio and Dom did great. They both made the main event on Saturday, which meant they were two of the fastest 24 out of 100 and some odd cars there.
Wow.
It was very impressive.
No, I'll tell you what, those kids are good, and they're nice. They're nice
Great
boys
kids.
too. I mean,
Yeah.
I know them since they're little kids, but they're really young men now. But
Yeah.
they're just nice young men. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're great kids, and we
And
had
they're
some
good
fun.
racers.
Real good racers. Let me tell you something. Making that main event over there, just getting
That's
in that
good.
A main, not easy.
Right.
There's a lot of big names that didn't make it, and they both did. So I can guarantee you one thing: Gary was up on the chip all weekend. I mean, he was just so nervous watching those boys, because every time you're on the track, you know, you're earning points towards whether or not you're going to make it into the main.
Right.
So I know every time they rolled out onto that half mile, he was a pretty nervous dude.
He is nervous. Was Jill there too?
Didn't see her. Probably.
Or Julie?
Yeah, probably.
I'm thinking Prock. We got Prock.
Yeah. No,
Jill.
we're gonna
Julie is
and we should have that. We're gonna get in with John Force and Austin Prock on the show today.
good, neat. I mean, we got a couple of cool guys on the show. A first-time winner and a 150-time winner.
How about that?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really neat. So they're gonna be coming up real soon. In fact, we're gonna have Force in the very next segment, and then Austin right after that. Just before, while we're waiting for John to call in, though, you know, you were mentioning just before we went on the air about the switch that took place. What, about a fourth of the way into the year? I mean, a lot of people thought, well, maybe that's a sign of desperation, but it's really worked out.
I'll tell you what, who'd have thunk it, right?
Yeah.
Mike Green leaves Tasca and goes to John Force as switch for Mike Neff. So Mike Neff goes from Force to Tasca. That deal, I mean, and you would think, I mean, they're both pretty good guys. How would switching them make much of a difference?
So what do you think? Is it
It worked out great
chemistry?
for both of them. It's got to be. I don't know. I don't know what it was.
Because knowledge-wise, they're both
They've both been around a long time.
Right.
I remember Mike Green and Mike Neff both worked on McDonald's Dragster back when Ed
Right.
McCulloch drove it back in, early 90s. So they've both worked together before. And so then, to work out that swap and to realize, I mean, as soon as it happened, that was when Bob Teska won those two races back to back. And here now Mike Green on the crew for Austin Prock's car, they win in Seattle. And that car's kind of been stepping up, better too over the last few months. So it seems like that swap worked out really good for both of them. We'll have to ask John Force about that.
Yeah, and so sometimes it's just about being able to communicate with that driver, right? Not even necessarily the chemistry with the whole team, but just that communication with the driver, just understanding what you're looking for can make a big difference.
Well, or the other guy's working on the car
Yeah.
too. This guy has worked with those guys on that car before and really knows how to speak their kind of language. Because think about it, when you're working on a top fuel car or a funny car, whatever, you're in the pits and you're working on it, you don't really talk much because it's going so fast. There's not much talking. It's just like this guy gets a certain look on his face and that guy knows what he wants and hands him the wrench. Like you got to be that quick because they give you 40 minutes or whatever, but the teams that are really good, they can rebuild those cars in less than 20 minutes. I mean, it's really quick and it's perfect. It has to be perfect.
Yeah, and you have no choice, right?
Yep. Well, you're never going to win.
No, you're never going to win. That's for sure. That's for sure. And sometimes, so do you think that was a move? What do you think sparked that move?
I don't, you know what? I really don't know. When we had Task on the show and we kind of asked him and he didn't really directly answer it. He just said, it was time to make a little bit of a change. But boy, it seems like how could you have foreseen that was going to be that good of a change for both teams? Yeah. I mean, they're both good guys. Mike and Mike Green, I've known them both for years and they're both good guys. This, Mike Green just fit better over there and Mike Neff just fit better over there. I don't know.
So it's really, it's not like changing a quarterback, right? But it's like swapping head coaches and then fourth of the way through the season.
Well, it's almost, it'd either be like a quarterback or a head coach. It'd be like one of them. I mean, that's a big change.
It's a huge
change.
change.
For it to, in Tasca's case, it made an immediate difference.
And you would think that maybe it would work out for one and not for the other, but it's worked out for both.
I guess that was the point I was getting at.
Yeah.
You would think that maybe this one just worked out really good here and that one didn't work, it was good for one of them, but it seems like it was a good, whatever kind of arrangement they worked out, it was good for both teams. It was good for John Force Racing. It was good for Tasca.
Yeah.
That's hard to happen,
really hard.
Yeah.
Really hard.
So great job by those guys for seeing far enough ahead to realize that was going to be something that good. So I want to ask Austin about that and how, and John Force. I mean, they both worked with Mike Neff for a long time. And actually, Force, Mike Neff was a crew chief for one of Force's championships, too.
Right.
On Force's car. So
that's right.
Boy, how do you get rid of one of your guys that's been one of your top crew chiefs and won you the championship? I don't know. But now Mike Green's winning races with Austin Prock, so I guess it worked out.
It worked out. Well, we'll have a chance to ask John right after this commercial break right here on the Straight Line.
O'Reilly. A rough-running engine could be suffering from buildup of fuel and oil deposits, but O'Reilly Auto Parts can help. Clean out engine buildup and improve fuel economy with Seafoam Motor Treatment. On sale for $7.99 each at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It wasn't just built to be a museum. It was built to be a shrine to the history, heritage, and future of the sport we love. This is our house, the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and it's packed full of classic and present-day cars, including Petty's, Earnhardt's, and Waltrips, as well as interactive experiences, realistic racing simulators, and much more. Plan a trip to the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte. Tickets at NASCARHall.com. NASCAR Hall of Fame. This is our sport. This is our house.
MRN's Classic Races.
Labonte gets crossed up. Labonte goes around. Dale Earnhardt now watches Labonte spun across the line and got the win.
Spanning 50 years of NASCAR racing.
Barney Hall. There's a beautiful afternoon here in Daytona Beach, and the action will be fast and furious.
Legendary voices, legendary races.
Darrell, simply, what happened?
I just hope he chokes on that 200,000. That's all I can tell him.
MRN's Classic Races. Available on MRN.com, iTunes, and your favorite podcast provider.
He did touch.
No, he knocked the hell out of me.
Welcome back to MRN's The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Ralph Shaheen, Doug Herbert back with you. And we're going to have a little switch up in our starting lineup here today. Apparently John Force is still in a meeting, so we'll give him an extra minute. So Austin Prock is called in ahead of the boss. Congrats, Austin, on that big win in Seattle.
Thank you. It was definitely a dream come true, and it's still sinking in. I still can't believe it.
Hey, Austin, the guys from your Montana brand and Rocky Mountain Twist had to be pretty excited. Were those guys at the race with you in Seattle?
Yes, there was a few of them there. Brian, which is Frank Peake's partner, and he's like his partner in crime in all the businesses that they own. He was there, and a few of their sons and things like that. So it was really special to have them there. And then we had a trip planned to Montana after Seattle to go display our race car and meet all the employees of Rocky Mountain Twist. So it couldn't have been better timing to bring a Wally to them.
What did you do to celebrate after you got back from the race?
Oh, the standard drag racing quota. We slammed some Coors Lights, and we had loud music, and the Capco boys came over, and they celebrated with us. Mama Kay bought the team pizzas, and it was just a lot of fun. Just about everyone in the pit came by and congratulated me, and they were really happy for me. So it was definitely a special night, something I'll never forget, and a good time with the family.
Looking back on it, I remember my first win. That was a long time ago. But What did it feel like? You're going down the track, right? And you see the win light on the wall come on. Did you see the win light on the wall come on? Did you know you won when you were pulling down there and the finish line crew comes up to you and all excited, jumping around? What was going through your head?
It was actually weird this weekend. So being a new driver, it's hard to find the win light. You got your hands full down there, and it's hard to take your eyes off of what you're doing to see that win light. And for some reason, I could see the win light all day on Sunday. And, we swapped lanes, and we ended up being in that right lane for the final round. And I'm like, man, like I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm not going to be able to see the win light because I was used to looking at it in the left lane all weekend. And, we had a little mishap on the starting line, and I looked kind of like a bonehead up there. But we got it done, and I saw Torrance smoke the tires, and we rolled right by him and saw that win light came on. And, man, I was so excited. I pulled my seatbelts off and, probably a little bit earlier than I should have, almost threw my head in the windshield, and, I couldn't wait to get out of that race car.
So where is that Wally proudly displayed?
It's the centerpiece in the house right now. As soon as you walk in, that's the center focal point. Just to make sure everyone sees it, and I get reminded of it every day.
Hey, Austin, one thing. So I'm looking at your lights. You're having good lights you have all year. In the final round, you just said something. You got distracted or something happened. What happened going in the final that caused the problem?
Well, rolling up there, we had Force in front of us, and the entire team and Force, we've been wanting that 150 win for him for over a year now. And, it was just an emotional time for me to watch him go get 150 right in front of me. And I was excited and amped up. And, then I realized, hey, bud, you got to go try and get yourself your first Wally now. And, tried to calm myself down. And I thought I had it together. But, went up there, me and Torrance, we were going to play games with each other, of course, because neither one of us wanted to get left on. I wanted to be the guy to stop the champ, and he didn't want to let a rookie beat up on him. So neither of us were pre-staging. I rolled in. I'm like, cool, I'm in. And he double-balled me, and my mind went blank. And I just rolled right in. I never took my foot off the clutch pedal. And I went in so fast after he double-balled me, he still had his clutch pedal in and the fuel not all the way on. So that's why both of our lights were so terrible. We swapped feet like we were in a pro stock car.
That's amazing. Outside of Doug, probably the majority of the people listening to the show, certainly myself included, will never know what it's like to win a Wally. So we hear about going to the next one, that it changes for the driver. Do you feel different now heading to Brainerd?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. This is the first time I'll ever enter a race as the previous national event winner, which is extremely cool. But, you got that monkey off your back when you get your first one, just like winning in anything, growing up racing midgets and sprint cars. You get that first win, and then it just feels like they just come more naturally. You know how to compose yourself, you know how to act, and you just learn every time you get one. So I think I'm more hungrier than ever. You get the taste of victory, and that you find out what it tastes like, and now you really want it, even though I wanted it bad before. And the crew's still hungry. The race car's not running where we want it to be. We want to be able to go up there and set number one qualifier and be low ET every time we roll up there. And if we can pair that with a good reaction time, we'll really be tough to beat.
Hey, Austin, your family's been involved in drag racing for a long time. I've known your grandfather, obviously your mom and your dad for a long time, and I know your mom and dad were at the race. How happy was your family to see you get that done? I mean, I could see your mom on the video that we just played was really, really cool for me to see.
Yeah, they were excited for sure. It's been a dream that I've been fighting for my whole life, and to accomplish it at 23 years old, that's just a testament to the opportunities my parents have given me and raising me right, I feel like. So they were obviously very happy for me, and they were happy for themselves as well. You could see my dad give a smirk on the TV up there, and it's very rare when he smiles.
Well, I know you know our good buddy Lewis Bloom, who is the historian on Fox coverage of the NHRA. Did you see what he put up on Twitter about the last time a Prock had been in the final rounds in an NHRA Nitro class?
Yeah, I did see that, and it's kind of funny that every time he was in a national event final, it was against Don Perdome, and Don beat him every time, and now this time Don kind of helped me get my first win, bringing the Montana brand sponsorship to us, and it's just funny how the world works.
Yeah, for those that might not have seen it, the last time a Prock was in the final round of a Nitro class at an NHRA National was 1976 in Montreal, and it was, of course, Austin's grandfather, Tom, in the Custom Body Enterprises funny car. He lost to Don Perdome in the Army car.
Wow. Man, you know that, and it's funny at Montreal. I know that was a place where Forrest won his first race. Sitting there and watching him win this 150, you just told us that it distracted you a little bit. What was going through your mind? It was like the pressure was on you then. You had to get it done, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Danny Hood, John Forrest's crew chief, we're good buddies, and me and my Montana brand team, we haven't had the best of luck all year, and neither is Forrest. He's got the final rounds, and it just doesn't seem to work out. And me and Danny always said from the beginning of the year, we said, when John gets 150, you're going to get your first win. And it's just unbelievable how it all worked out. You couldn't write the story any better. And after I saw John win, I'm like, man, I really got to get this done now, because that's going to be a hell of a storyline. But the only bummer out of the whole thing is I was a little pissed off that Forrest is probably going to steal the cover of National Dragster from me.
Well, now the thing changes, Austin. You go from being the guy that everybody thinks is going to win soon to the guy that's now expected to win. So how do you deal with that change in the mental game?
I feel like we've set the bar high for us all year long. We went out in Pomona. We ran good. I won my first ever round of competition in a pedal fest, and I feel like I've kind of set the bar high for myself and have been expected a lot, especially being Jimmy Prock's son and Tom Prock's grandson, along with driving for John Force and having Don Perdome behind me. I feel like everyone expects a lot out of me, and I think we've been doing a great job of that. And, you can expect more wins out of us. I think we're totally capable. And I think everybody in the top field class knows we're here.
Hey, Austin, when Mike Green came on board just not too long ago, it kind of what changed there with your team? It seemed like when Mike Neff went over to Tasca's team, when that swap happened, it was a really, really good thing for Tasca. And now all of a sudden it's looking like it's a pretty good thing for John Force Racing in your Montana brand car.
Yeah, this, our team, it's been, a little bit behind all year. When I got licensed 3 days before Pomona, we didn't have a crew. We flew a crew in for Pomona, and we've been doing that all the way up until Denver. We finally got a full team of guys, a good core group of guys, a few people with a lot of experience, a few rookie guys that are have a really good attitude and want to be better and want to be great in this sport. And then you add Ronnie Thompson in there and Mike Green. I feel like we have just a great package right now, and it showed. The last race of the Western Swing, we finally got our core group of guys together in Denver. Everyone had their heads down, worked really hard, didn't make any mistakes, and you see the results. So now that everyone kind of knows that, and I think we can keep it up.
So how does this set you up for the rest of the year now? What's the strength of this team going forward?
Well, we're hitting our strides at the right time. We got 2 races before the countdown to the championship. We've, been battling that 10th, 11th spot almost all year long. And now we're tied for 8th. We're 30 points out of 7th behind Leah Pritchett. And our car's been running better than hers. If you look at the paper, we've taken her out first round both weekends. And I think we can move up into that 6th or 7th spot before the countdown starts. And if we keep hitting our strides like we are, we're going to be tough to beat in that countdown to the championship.
Well, Austin, it's all about getting hot at the right time, and seems like it's pretty much about the right time for you guys, so that's a good thing. Also, I wanted to thank you for helping me in Las Vegas. We did that distracted driving video, the little tongue twister video with National Team Distracted Driver Awareness, whatever, and that was funny. I don't know if you ever got to see that video, but did a great job on that.
Yeah, I did. It was very cool. Thank you. Yes, thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Thanks for being involved, and we appreciate it. Congratulations on the win, man. That's a great place to win. Ron Capps won his first race in Seattle, and he's won a few races since then, so that was a good start, and wouldn't be a bad place to follow right in behind John Force into those steps.
Yeah, absolutely. Tommy Johnson got his first top fuel win there also. So
that's right.
He's not too shabby either.
All right, Austin, listen, thank you very much for joining us on the show today, and best of luck as you progress through the rest of the season.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, that's Austin Prock wrapping things up here. And just as we close out this segment, our friends at Hercules, we got our Hercules tire guy right there.
It looks like me. Not that much.
Not the biceps part. They're giving away a free set of tires every month, and you can register by going to HerculesTire.com/MRN.
Free tires. Everybody loves free. I love free.
Free is me.
You know what the best kind of tires are?
Free tires.
Free tires, exactly.
We're going to be right back with more free MRN The Straight Line presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You can grab a hot dog anywhere.
Hey, what'll it be?
But you can't always grab one from the trackside concessions where the guy's been slinging since you were a kid. 300 calories turning into 300 decibels, cheering Martin Truex Jr. until he clinches the win. Take a bite, and if you taste something greater, you're family now. The summer's heating up. Follow what could be the Toyota racing family's best season ever at toyotaracing.com. Toyota, let's go places.
NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
Here's your chance to win a set of your very own Hercules tires. Go to HerculesTires.com/MRN. Simply register, and each month we'll give away one set of tires. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading mileage coverage to get you wherever you need to go, no matter where the road takes you. Register now for your chance to win a set of Hercules tires at HerculesTires.com/MRN. Hercules Tires. Ride on our street.
O'Reilly.
Win the battle against rust and corrosion with PB Blaster products. 2 for $10 at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Choose from a selection of PB Blaster lubricants and penetrants for everything from chains and cables to frozen locks and hinges. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Back here with MRN's The Straight Line presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts, and we have been waiting to do this interview almost as much as this guy's been waiting to hoist that 150th Wally. Congratulations, John Force, on getting number 150.
Thank you guys for having me on the show. Sorry I'm late. I've been in the boardroom. It's been hectic since Seattle. We run the Night Under Fire in Norwalk. Robert won the race in the Auto Club Chevy. We packed them in. And it's just been crazy, and I've been out of the office for 4 weeks, and they finally got me back. But now I'm on your show. Let's do what I love to do.
What? We don't know what that is, Force.
I don't either, but I like winning races.
I know you like winning races, and 150 of them. Man, I'll tell you what. I've been lucky enough to be in the winner's circle a couple times and with you, and I'll tell you what, watching the excitement on your face, winning 150, I don't know that winning has ever got boring from you. You'd think you win 150, they'd start getting boring, but you don't ever seem to get bored with winning.
Well, Doug, you've done this. You know the thrill of victory. You take defeat, you try to make a positive out of it. But I had a winning day. Robert had won his 50th at Sonoma, and it's like, what's wrong with John Force? You know, and then the monkey got me. It took a year before I woke up and realized the monkey actually helped me get that win. It's a fictitious animal that I put in my head, but the hype got so big, and it was every week. They had a sign that NHRA carried around for a year. It said 150 wins, and it's a classic. I'm going to put it in my museum. The paint had run off the side of it. It was wore out. People were tired of showing up. Like, oh, God, this guy wins 14, 15 races a year in the old days. What the hell's wrong with him now? And I thought, what is wrong with me now? And all of a sudden, we found some things. Yeah, I take all the blame because I should have been involved more in the car. I got sidetracked. But when I sat down with that monkey, I said, what am I doing wrong? You're running these companies, 7 corporations. You're running around nuts, trying to find money all the time, building new teams, but you're not focusing on the cockpit of your car. And they built me 2 cars. I ran a new one at Norwalk. I ran 91 with it, probably rolled deep, probably ran 89. Different designs, but cars that fit me. Last year, I got into Courtney's car that had won 5 races, and I thought it would fit me. The steering didn't fit me. The seat didn't fit me. I couldn't see half the time, and I thought I was blind. I even went and bought glasses so I could see, and then find out I don't need them. I did it because tire shake, the cockpit was wrong. And we found in the clutch can some things. We found in the throttle, and I ain't saying we're going to go out and win every race, but we're sure going to be better than we were.
John, does that mean you're reborn, as if you will, as a driver now? You've figured out a couple of new things for a guy that's won 150 races? I can't imagine as much that's new.
I had I got a new team this year, Brian Karate, and you know that he ran in Top Fuel with Antron. They won 2 or 3 championships. He knows how to win. He teamed up with Daniel Hood that has been running my cars for years. I put 2 players in the seat, and I got a car chief with Tim Fabrizi. Daniel Hood's my son-in-law, Ashley's husband. So in the middle of it, I just figured her car did good. I'll learn how to drive it. And I had to make a lot of changes, so I take the blame. I'm at fault. The car's going to be better. It's been fast, but it had no consistency. Either I was driving over the center line, and I thought, I know how to drive. Austin Coyle called me and said, this don't make any sense. You've got to look at the car. And we got looking at the car. We got looking at other things. And they thought I couldn't hold the brake because I wasn't strong enough. And in the middle of it, they put a push brake in it. Perdome said, go back to the pull brake. It ain't the brake. And we found problems in the clutch. We found a lot of stuff. I'm sitting here making excuses, but I had a car, and it was always fast. It just didn't have consistency. I was a big part of that. I hope we're back on track. I know it's going to get better because I believe in that, and the monkey helped me do it. So, hey, and so that 150, I got to give credit. You know, Dean Antonelli tuned for me and won. Mike Neff tuned for me and won. Jimmy Prock won a bunch of them and tuned with me. And John Schaefer, so many people. Austin Coyle, Bernie Federley, they won 90% of those races. Coyle led the charge on that. Without Coyle, I probably wouldn't have 2 or 3 championships. But in the end, or maybe none. But in the end, that final one, Brody, Daniel Hood, our guys got it. Fabrizi, a bunch of young kids that stood behind me said, we don't care how old you are. You can drive a hot rod. And we proved it on that day. And I ain't got the fire and the energy the kids got. But on any given Sunday, I can win.
Well, I'll tell you what, 16-time champion, and we're kind of going into the part of the year where John Force can get pretty hot. Do you got another 17 in there, champ?
It's there, but Robert Height is like Torrance. He's got a hot rod that's just unstoppable. And Coyle's, Robert's winning races with Jimmy Prock and Cunningham, and they're just fast. And they've got a huge lead, even though some of it will be taken away in the countdown. They got a huge lead. The number 2 spot that I'm in, man, we got Beckman, we got Hagan, we got Caps, we got everybody's bottled up. J.R. Todd, Langdon, Wilkerson, Cruz, everybody's bottled up that can move up. Get number 1. Now there's points and a half in Indy. Brainerd we're going to this week. I'm looking forward. I won more races at Brainerd. I think I've won 8 or 9 than I've won anywhere.
11.
You know, on the circus, whatever the number is. But I'm excited about my car. I got that win for the team and for Peak and Chevrolet and Auto Club and a Montana brand. And then on that same day, in Advanced Auto Parts with Brittany and CarQuest. But on that day, Prock had been saying all year, when Force wins 150, Austin, the young kid, he said, I'm going to win the race. And then he wins it. He had a little bit of luck on his side, but he was in that fight all day long. And anytime you can beat Torrance, you're doing pretty good. And got to give credit to Torrance. And a lot of them that's out there, they live it, they love it, and our sport's strong. And Ron Capps, right in the middle of the fight, a great kid, and I love him to death. He does a great job, like Brittany does for Advanced Auto Parts. He does it for Napa. So God bless him. And he was, even though he wanted to beat me, he was glad when he saw me win. It was over. So they're already starting me on 200, like Petty. I've never raced Petty. I don't even know the man. I know of him. He's my hero, like Earnhardt. But we got that 150. Let's go after the countdown. We're locked in. Let's go after a championship. And let's see where the future goes.
John, you lead probably in every funny car category there is. And now you've added another category, and you dominate that one too, and that is Best Victory Celebration, because that celebration after 150 was outstanding. Did you know you were going over the fence?
The reason for that one at the end of the racetrack, I got out, and they were Mellow Yellow was trying to give me the win trophy. I had the racetrack there that was trying to give me a trophy for the win that day at their track. They were trying to NHRA trying to give me the first win back in '88 in Montreal, or '87 or '89 with Coyle, and it was so many people I couldn't think. I couldn't even find the girl going to interview me, and it's like I need to get out of here because this Prock kid with the Montana brand, and Rocky Mountain Twist, I needed a win for that car. Perdome brought me that sponsor with Frank Teagues, and he's the owner, Frank Teagues. I needed that car to get a win to show them that with Mike Green, we're headed the right direction. And in the middle of it, we got the win, but I wanted to get down. Then somebody said the TV was being shut off. I was a little crazy. I got to remember there's kids out there, but I thought we had a time delay. It's always been a time delay where they can fix if you say something stupid in the heat and the passion of yelling and screaming and like, I need to get to the starting line. But years ago when I crashed in '07, broke my arms and legs, the doctors told me, look, you're going to be lucky if you can walk on a cane. Your knees broke. You're not going to drive a race car. And I swore if I ever get back, and when I won at Topeka, I was going in the stands, but I couldn't get over the fence. I was just beat up too bad. And this time, I got over the fence. It wasn't pretty. But then I got into the stands. They had to lift me into the stand. And they were unbelievable, the crowd. They were, I got proposals up there. I said, who wants a guy as old as me? But I got proposals, and just people were loving the whole thing, and Prock winning. It was just John Force Racing. We didn't win the swing. None of my drivers did, but Robert won at Sonoma, and life's good. I got no complaint.
Well, life is good. It's always good to be John Force. I remember one time you were talking to my son and I, and he told you, John Force, you are one tough hombre. And I'll remember that because you are one tough hombre in my book. And I want to thank you for being my friend. Thank you for supporting Brakes. And we're looking forward to, Robert, bringing your granddaughter to Brakes coming up at some time. And I hope you're going to come out and join. We'll give you a little, you know how to drive fast, but we're going to teach you about being a safer driver one of these days too, Force.
You've got a great cause, what you do. You do it for a passion, the love of your children, and to help others. And I always want to be a part of it. Our schedules get crazy. I'm glad to hear that he's bringing Autumn. She's driving junior dragsters. But I'll always be there for you. You know what I'm saying? When you really need me, you call, and I'll be there because what you're doing is great. We are on overload. We love it. NHRA. I was up there yesterday with Louis Bloom filming stuff for Brainerd, and I met with Cromwell, the president, and Peter Clifford, just about things. We got to grow our sport. We got to love it. We got to live it. They're spending a lot of money on Fox TV, and we're doing good in racing compared to a lot of other sports, baseball, football. Crowds are changing everywhere. Everyone's got a choice. But drag racing, the world runs on wheels, and we're going to stay in business.
John, I got one more for you before we let you go. I saw the other day your daughters are always recording things and posting things on you, and I don't even know if you know half the time you're being recorded. But recently, I saw you took on Spider-Man.
You know, it was funny. My grandchildren, I always said NHRA gave my kids back to me because my wife raised them, and I was on the road, and I'd get home for recitals or piano lessons or graduations. But, it's probably the biggest thing I hate the most that I gave up, and I don't want to give it up with my grandchildren, and Jacob was having a birthday party, and we had raced in Norwalk after Seattle. We got up at 4 a.m, went to the airport. We got home at 1 o'clock. We got to the party. They had like 50, 60 kids there from Jacob and all of them's baseball teams and all that, Noah, and of course Autumn. I tried to get to her parties. I tried to do all that. But in the middle, they had Jacob as Batman, kind of Batman and Robin, but Jacob was Spider-Man, and one of my employees, Josh, was Spider-Man, and the guy didn't show up that was going to be the crook that was going to steal the money from Ashley and give to the kids, and I was supposed to grab it, so they dressed me all up. My old belly was hanging out. I got a beer belly still. I don't even drink beer. But in the middle of it, I ran across, and then I got mauled by 50 kids, and they were beating me up. And I was on the ground, and Jacob and Josh were laughing so much, and I didn't know they were filming it. You know, Brittany lives, and Courtney, they live social media. It's their life. And they were filming all of it. And I was a little embarrassed when I saw it, and then I ended up getting thrown in the pool. I was handcuffed, I almost drowned. But you know what? I made it home to that grandson's party, and he had fun. And that was the finishing touches to Seattle, because I had to get to Norwalk. We killed them down there. We had a great crowd. Vader always puts on a great show. And in the middle of it, Robert won in the Auto Club Chevy. Cap's in the final. But Cap's got a great race car. He'll be right in the hunt for the championship. And I really love all these guys. They're the only friends I got. Them and the lady at the laundry and the guy at the donut shop. So I love being on your show. Call me anytime. Thank you for letting me be late. I've been in the boardroom trying to get things ready to go, and then we're going to head to Brainerd.
All right, John, thank you so much. Congratulations on 150. You're always so gracious to come on the show. We were waiting to have you when you got 150, and we're glad we could do it with you. Best of luck this weekend in Brainerd.
150 was big. I'm wore out. It's time to move on to try to win the championship.
All right, buddy. Go get him.
Anybody can do it. You can, Forrest. Go get him, Bal.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back with more.
Welcome to the Speed Sport News Center. I'm Derek Prenesiglio.
Suzuki presents Speed Sport.
These are guys that you can take anywhere in the country and they can win on any given night.
Oh! What a great shot.
When your battery goes dead, everything could come to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need to be replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you find the exact battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
NHRA drag racer Doug Herbert here to talk about safe driving. In early 2008, my two sons were killed in a car accident that was caused by speed and inexperience. After the accident, I learned that over 6,000 teenagers each year are killed in car accidents, so I formed a nonprofit organization called Brakes. Brakes stands for Be Responsible and Keep Everyone Safe. Please visit our website at putonthebrakes.org to learn more about responsible driving and what you can do to keep our roads safe.
We're going to close up the show here on MRN's The Straight Line presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Of course, there's racing this weekend. Looking forward to the NHRA getting back in action. So if you'd like to go see the racing up in Brainerd. There's a lot of bees. We're going to Brainerd. Lucas Oil NHRA Nationals. NASCAR's going to Bristol. See, I got the bees on my brain. August 15th through the 18th. That's this weekend. Lucas Oil NHRA Nationals. Go to NHRA.com. Click on that red ticket tab in the top right corner. Get some tickets and go to the races. Of course, certainly want to think about Indy as well.
Indy coming up here over Labor Day weekend, and then the Reading, Pennsylvania race coming up September 12th through the 15th. So some great racing coming up for the Midwest, Eastern folks. Get your tickets, NHRA.com, right?
Yeah, well, no
Ticket
doubt.
tab, right-hand corner.
Click on the button. Yep, that's it. And get the right B. As we sit here and think about red light, green light for the end of today's show, this is one that maybe, depending on how you feel as an individual, could fit either as a red light or a green light. Either you can't wait to get there, or maybe you need to stay away from it, and that's the zoo at Brainerd.
The zoo at Brainerd, and we've talked about it for years on this show, but it's there's some races you go to that they have campgrounds at. Actually, probably maybe a third of the racetracks have campgrounds at the racetrack or right next to the racetrack or inside the racetrack, whatever. Brainerd is one of those that is fun. And I don't know what it is with the people from Minneapolis area, Minnesota. A lot of Canadians actually go there.
Yep.
It is crazy. It's like they don't get out all winter and then they go there and it is wide open. I mean, it's wide open with they're building pit vehicles, I guess I'll call them. It could be a bathtub. It could be a bar stool with an engine on it. It could be whatever. It's just a lot of fun. It's like your fun meter could get pegged out, so you got to be careful. Like you take Selzy in the campground.
Oh God!
Now Selzy was dangerous because you couldn't get him out.
You couldn't get him.
You know, this is fun. You know, but just going in there, they love seeing the racers. You bring some hats and some T-shirts and give some stuff away, sign some autographs, have some fun. You sign autographs at some weird stuff. We just tell you that right up front. But they're just crazy. So it could be a red light if you don't leave soon enough. Or one year, in fact, there was the National Guard going in.
That's a red light.
That's a definite red light. The National Guard goes in, that's time for me to leave.
Yeah.
But it's really fun. The people are they're hospitable.
Yeah, they're there to have a good time.
They're there for a good time.
There's every major form of motorsport has a zoo somewhere, right? Like, so for IndyCar racing, it's the Snake Pit at the Indianapolis 500. For road racing, it would be down at Sebring down there. Yeah. For NASCAR, it's probably, Talladega certainly has their share of fun. Another place, it's infamous or famous, depending on how you look at it, would be the Bog at Watkins Glen. Back in the old, when they would run the full course there, that the Bog was legendary up at Watkins Glen. So it's not unusual. And for drag racing, it's certainly the zoo.
It's the zoo. It's definitely the zoo. A lot of campgrounds, other racetracks, but the zoo is the wild one. If you're a big camping fan and a drag racing fan, reserve a spot next year and go to the zoo because I'm pretty sure they're probably already sold out for this year.
Yeah,
if I had to guess, there's probably at least 5,000 or more people camping in the zoo. It's a big deal. They've got live bands, bars, stage, entertainment, whatever you want. They've got it at the zoo. Trust me.
Yeah. Those places are always fun though because you get you really get in touch with the fans and you get to meet people. There's always a good time to be had down there. You just kind of have to put your own rev limiter on.
Right. There's I know I've talked to fans there at the zoo that they didn't even know there's a drag race going on. They're like, I came to this cool party, man, campground. Well, what's those loud noises going on?
Well, it's like
over
the
there?
Snake Pit now in Indianapolis. They have a big concert going on all day over there, and there's a whole bunch of folks over there have no idea the biggest race in the world is taking place while they're there.
Hey, you know
but
what?
They're having a great time. So
as long as your fun meter is pegged out, who cares?
Ticket sales are up, right?
Exactly. We go to the races for fun and entertainment. If you don't even have to see a race for that, then all the better for you.
Yeah. So that's Brainerd in a nutshell. And the other thing about Brainerd, it takes a little effort to get there.
It does.
A couple hours outside of Minneapolis.
That. Yeah, so you normally commercial, right? You fly to Minneapolis and you're driving for 2 hours. You go
beautiful
to St.
country.
Cloud and yeah, it's beautiful. And, a lot of fish places up there, right? I guess they catch
10,000 lakes.
10,000 lakes. And there's actually, I heard that was a lie. There's actually more than 10,000, but
and
there's a lot.
And a big Paul Bunyan statue.
A big Paul Bunyan statue. What's the name of that town right there? I guess that's Brainerd. That is Brainerd.
Yeah, it's basically Brainerd. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got that little, it's Paul Bunyan land or something like that.
You know the name of his ox?
No.
Blue. I'm pretty sure it's
Blue.
Pretty sure it's Blue.
That's where Blue Ox came from. Oh, man.
Blue is the name.
You're just like a
wealth of information. I know the Snake Pit, the Bog, the zoo, and Blue. Well, that's... But I didn't know Brainerd. I thought it was missing. Anyway, we got our B straight. Brainerd, Bristol, and Blue, and Bunyan. We're going to be back next week with another episode of The Straight Line. For Doug, I'm Ralph. See you later.